I looked up the motel in this song on like Yelp to see what people had to say about it. They didn't think it was such a great motel. Maybe they missed, like, for me, well, the front office has bulletproof glass. That's pretty cool. And there's a Polaroid picture of a naked lady in the bulletproof glass and it says, "Sexy movie, $5." So I don't know what these Yelp people have against this lovely motel that I stayed at in 1988 when I was working at an AIDS hospice. This is called You Remember. I checked into a bar gazed out through the curtains of the parking lot. Ducked down to the corner store just before nightfall in my bare feet, like tarry asphalt. It was soft and hard. When I came back, I spread out my supplies on the counter by the sink, looked myself right in the eyes. St. Joseph's, baby, bottles and chains, and you, oh, you meant I ducked behind the drapes and I saw the moon. Switched on the line. Down there in the dark, I could see the real truth about me. It was as clear as day to me. If I make it through this night, well, I will mend my ways and walk the straight path to the end of my days. St. Joseph's, baby, aspirin. Bottles and chains, yes and you. All your memory. This is a song, I'm always telling people what this song is about, but I always feel like I fail to actually correctly and accurately detail, without seeming crass, just how great it is if you are 14 years old and you have just entered high school and you're staring down what looks like an extraordinarily long and dark tunnel, because everywhere you go, they are calling you a faggot, right? And then you are the sort of insufferable intellectual already at 14 who wants to go, well, you call me that like it was a bad thing. I'm straight, but and you're like, I need your ass kicked. And you persist in this illusion that you can talk sense into them, right? You cannot, right? Although, turns out later that many of them actually were sort of nursing their own sort of things, and you hang around long enough. But yeah, so I'm 14, and I'm at Claremont High School. I don't know why you would cheer for Claremont High School. I mean, there's wonderful teachers there, but... So I'm at Claremont High School, and I'm thinking, junior high sucked, but maybe high school would be great, because people might be into books. But as it turns out, there's 900 people, and 850 of them think it would be fun to just kick a guy's ass when he walks past. And you think, I don't think I can stand 4 years of this. You know, I think I look too young and innocent to score the kind of drugs I would need to get through it. But then you sign up for stage makeup class. Man, I'm gonna personally beat the tar out of all of you who laughed at that. Stage makeup is awesome. So, you sign up for stage makeup class, and you meet somebody who wants to sleep with you. And the next time you walk past the jocks and they smack you in the head, you think, none of you are having sex, and I am. This song is for my first serious girlfriend. 36 Hudson in the garage. All sorts of junk in the unattached spare room. Dishes in the kitchen sink. New straw for the old broom. Friends who don't have a clue. Well-meaning teachers. But down in your arms, I am a wild creature. Floor 2 foot high with newspapers. White carpet thick with pet hair. Half-eaten gallons of ice cream in the freezer. Fresh fuel for the sodium plants. I write down good reasons to freeze to death. In my spiraling notebook. But in the long tresses of your hair, I am a babbling brook. Song about how sometimes you are living in a house and you're in high school and your stepfather is abusing your mother and it really sucks. You have to take a lot of drugs to deal with that, right? But you don't have to, I should say. But you probably do. And when you do, they make you feel marginally better, but the main thing that makes you feel better is the company of other people who are as damaged as you are or will shortly become as damaged as you are, and you can sense it. Because there is an internal sensor. If you bear some damage, you have this sensor that says, that person is either damaged or is getting there, and I think I will hang out with her until things get a little brighter. I play this for a lovely person who wore a cape to school, and it's called This Year.
rich on my tongue, yeah. And then Kathy showed up and we hung out, trading swigs from the bottle, all bitter and clean, locking eyes and holding hands, twin high maintenance machines. I am gonna make it through this year if it kills me. I am gonna make it through this year if it kills me. I drove home in the California dust. I could hear the alcohol inside of me hum pictures of my stepfather's face, ready for the bad things to come. I dashed shifted as I turned into the driveway. The motor screaming out, it was stuck in second gear. The seat ends badly, as you might imagine. In a cavalcade of anger and fear, well, there will be feasting and dancing in Jerusalem next year. I am gonna make it through this year if it kills me. I am gonna make it through this year if it kills me.
Thanks, everybody. You shouldn't mix pills that they tell you not to mix. If you are 16 and think you're tough, this song is called Dilaudid.
The reception's gotten fuzzy, the delicate balance has shifted. Put on your gloves and your top coat, let's pretend the fog is lifted. Now you see me, well now you don't. Now you say you love me, pretty soon you won't. If we get our full 70, we're not gonna pass this way again, so kiss me with your mouth wide open. Tilt the tires of the B210 toward the street and stay sweet. All of the chickens come right on home to roost. Black bodies blotting out the sky. It breaks my worthless heart in half, when I see them trying to fly because you just can't do things your precious body wasn't meant to. Hike up your fishnets, Jackie. I know you. If we live to see the other side of this, I will remember your kiss, so do it with your mouth open. And take your foot off of the brake, for Christ's sake.
It's funny, like, I don't really predict whether I'm going to talk a lot between songs or not. I just sort of follow my thoughts. And, like, tonight I don't seem to be as chatty as I...
I love chatty!
I know, but here's the thing. It only has to do with, like, I really think like if I think the songs are going quite well, then I don't feel like I need to front load them. I think there's a lot of fun. So that's what's up with that. This is a song. I'll tell you about the little record player, and you may have heard about it before. Please visit the concession stand. There's popcorn. It's a top 5 foodstuff. Eggplant, of course, has been tossed off of the top 5 foodstuff because of my geographic tongue, which I'll explain in the future. That is an actual thing, by the way, geographic tongue. May you never learn what it is. It's hilarious that I have it, but yeah. So right after my parents' divorce, we moved to an apartment across town on Johnston Avenue in San Luis Obispo, which is the first line of the song, I think. And one little thing I had that I don't know who gave it to me or when, I just remember having it, was a little space, this was the age of space exploration, and it was a little rocket, plastic rocket, with a turntable, right, that was big enough to play a 3-inch record. Now, 3-inch records, the only other people who ever made them were like power violence bands of the early 90s. A band from San Diego called Crossed Out, 3-inch. If I remember correctly, it was a split 3-inch with Man is the Bastard, and it had about 91 songs on it. I could be wrong about who was on the other side. It could have also been Drop Dead. Anyway, but these little 3-inch records that were translucent flexi discs with recordings of the moon landing on them, right? So you were supposed to put on the record and then play with the rocket. I had this thing in an apartment we didn't live in for very long, where I turned out okay, so it's all good. At that period of time, everything was like I was learning what an implosion is. Right? That's what had happened in our house. This is called dancing.
Down the wire twice daily, I'm in the living room watching the water gate. Hearings while my stepfather yells at my mother, launches a glance across the room. Straight out ahead, and I dash upstairs to take cover, lean in close to my little record player on the floor. So this is what the volume knob's for. I listen to dance music, dance music. Okay, so look, I'm 17 years old, and you're the last best thing I got going. But then the special secret sickness starts to eat through you. What am I supposed to do? No way of knowing, so I follow you down your twisting alleyways, find a few cul-de-sacs all my own. There's only one place this road ever ends up. I don't wanna die alone. Let me down, let me down, let me down gently. When the police come to get me, I'm listening to dance music, dance music.
thing to do. I love that. There's always people that I think the best thing, and I'm with you actually when I see people play. I think, oh, it'd be best if they try and do one and they get it wrong, and then you see the actual people up there. So anyway, this is a song about the time I spent in a room in Claremont where I grew up, the summer between junior and senior year of high school. And when I say time I spent in a room that summer, that was where I spent the summer. Because my girlfriend's name was Jackie, and I did not want to be far from her, and she didn't particularly care to leave her room.
We stank of hair dye and ammonia. We sealed ourselves away from view. You were looking at the void and seldom blinking. The best that I could do was to train my eyes on you. We scaled the hidden hills beneath the surface, scraped our fingers bloody on the stones, and built a little house that we could live in. From Dinu Lipatti's bones. We kept our friends at bay all summer long. Treated the days as though they'd kill us if they could. Wringing out the hours like blood-drenched bed sheets to keep winter time at bay. But December showed up anyway. There was no money, it was money that you wanted. I went downtown and sold off most of what I owned, and we raised a tower to broadcast all our dark dreams from Dinu Lipatti's bones.
I'm always trying to figure out what to say about this goddamn song. Part of me wants to say, well, it's about revenge. But as soon as I say that, I go, no, that's not quite it. Part of me wants to say, well, it's about the satisfaction of not needing revenge. And I say, no, that's some new age stuff, you know. Up on that business, you know. But I think it's a song about the moment in your quest for revenge when you learn to embrace the futility of it. When you know that the thing that you want is ridiculous and pompous and a terrible thing to want anyway, and the direction in which you're headed is not the direction in which you want to go. Yet, you're going to head that way a while longer anyway, because that's just the kind of person you are.
There's bound to be a ghost at the back of your mind.
forgive. There's gonna come a day when you feel better. You will rise up free and easy on that day. Float from branch to branch, lighter than the air. Just when that day is coming, who can say? Who can say? Our mother has been absent ever since we found it wrong. But there's gonna be a party when the wolf comes home. We're gonna commandeer the local airways to tell the neighbors what's been going on. And they will shake their heads, wag their bony fingers in all the wrong directions. But by daybreak we'll be gone. We will be gone. I'm gonna get myself in a fighting trim. Scope out every angle of unfair advantage. I'm gonna bribe the officials. I'm gonna kill all the judges. It's gonna take you people years to recover from all of the damage. Our mother has been absent ever since we found it wrong. But there's gonna be a party when the wolf comes home. Na 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 na.
This is a song. It's you really should just not read your own press ever. It's like should be we are a generation who like that's what we kind of specialize in reading our own press, right? Checking out what people are saying about you. Terrible habit that literally everybody I know has. But this is the song. For some reason, it's not a true story. It's a revenge fantasy, but all the people in it are real, and that was known when the record is from the Sunset Tree. It was Lion's Teeth, and when the record came out, they would say, well, you know, whether the album finds John in a motel remembering stuff or attacking his drunken stepfather in the line, and I'm like, I mean, my stepfather didn't drink, right, at all. He was diabetic, so if he had like a beer, it like knocked his ass out, right? It was really kind of amusing because like you would start to wish that he drank more because he would have a beer or two, very agreeable and quiet. Whoa, man, Mike drank, that's cool, you know, but it rarely happened because he didn't enjoy it. But I can't for the life of me figure out why a bunch of people thought that the person who is passed out in the car in the driveway necessarily got that way by drinking, and then I realized like, oh, because they didn't live in the total madhouse that was your house, and people generally don't just pull up in the driveway and go to sleep.
The king of the jungle was asleep in his car. When your chances fall in your lap like that, you gotta recognize them for what they really are. Nobody in this house wants to own up to the truth. I crawl in shotgun and reach into his mouth, grab hold of one
sharp too, and hold on. For dear life, I hold on. Well, of course he wakes up. His paw hits the horn. I am gonna regret, and I do regret, the day that I was born. And then my mom rushes out to the driveway. My sister too. Everyone's screaming. I am dreaming of you. I hold on. For dear life, I hold on. And my arms get so warm. And my palms start to sweat. And the tears roll down my face. Till my cheeks are hot and red and soaking wet. In come the cops. They blow towards the doors. I start wailing. The lion roars. There's no good way to end this. Anyone can see. There's just great big you and little old me, and we hold on. For dear life, we hold on. We hold on.
This is a song about what it means to have music when you really need music to have. 'Cause I think it's a thing that people. I don't know. I feel like musicians get blasé or they stop talking about it, but it's like the reason you wind up standing where we're standing is that music has in some way really saved your life. Not metaphorically speaking, not, it saved my life insofar as it made me feel better. You mean that it stood between you and the yawning void that threatened to swallow you whole, right? Which was routinely the case for me when I was 14, which is what this song is about. It's called Hast Thou Considered the Tetrapod.
You are sleeping off your demons when I come home. Spittle bubbling at your lip, fine white foam. I am young and I am good. It's a hot Southern California day. If I wake you up, there will be hell to pay. And alone in my room, I am the last of a lost civilization. I vanish into the dark and rise above my station. Rise above my station. hoping you don't break my stereo, because it's the one thing that I couldn't live without. And so I think about that, and then I sort of black out, held under these smothering wings by your strong and thick-veined hand. One of these days, I am gonna ring alarm for Thailand. I believe that's a first. I think that's the first time I've actually jumped high enough to yank out the guitar cable. That's kind of nice.
Magpie.
Feed the kittens in the kitchen. Set food out for the strays. Try hard to do your best. The magpie will have his way. Fill your mouth with berries by the full light of the moon. Work all night if you have to. The magpie comes at noon. Shore up the crucifixes above the archways and the doors. The magpie will come at midday, and you will go down on all fours. And when the cherry's white with blossoms, be ready and be brave. And remember what we had here when there was something left to save.
Dennis Brown was a reggae singer with a gorgeous, gorgeous voice, just amazing, beautiful voice and beautiful feeling, who, like a lot of people in the 80s and 90s, and a lot of people always, I guess, developed a bottomless thirst for cocaine, and eventually it killed him. And I mean, some drugs, like, heroin, it's easy to die. And you can really just make a wrong turn and die. But you got to work to kill yourself with cocaine. You really got to mean it and ramp yourself up and get going so bad that you enlarge your heart and, in his case, collapse your lung. And so, I mean, me in high school, living in the house I lived in, really, really, I thought about, it always feels very strange to start talking about this stuff. I thought about killing myself every single day. And it was like the main thing I thought about, and I didn't want to hang out with anybody who didn't find that an interesting topic of conversation, and I think I got, like a lot of would-be suicides do, a sort of a thrill out of how frightened people are if you talk about that kind of stuff. And so, since in writing this album, I was trying to get in touch with that angry, frightened 17-year-old man that I once was. I thought about how I would have. Well, I was reading about Dennis Brown, And I felt just like I would have felt at 17. I would have thought, oh, what a great thing, that he went so insane that nobody could touch him. It's like you enter this sort of holy state if you're that far out on the sticks, you know what I mean? So that's where that's from.
On the day that Dennis Brown's lung collapsed, spring rain was misting down on Kingston. And down by the harp, local cops had intercepted an inbound shipment. And for a while there was chaos as they handcuffed and then roughed up some sailors. On the day my lung collapses, it's not gonna be much different. On the day that Dennis Brown's habits caught up with him, school children sang in choirs. Out behind the Chinese restaurants, guys were jumping into dumpsters. And the stench was overbearing, but they were past the point of caring. On the day my habits catch up with me, I'll be down among the jumpers. Will cloud the rivers and the lakes. It took all the coke in town to bring down Dennis Brown. On the day my habits catch up with me, I'm gonna be down among the jumpers.
The point of the song is that we are fairly well damaged by the legacy of the Romantic poets, that we think of love as this thing that is accompanied by strings, and it's a force for good, and if something bad happens, then that's not love. And the therapeutic tradition that I come from, I used to work in therapy, also says it's not love if it feels bad. I don't know so much about that. I don't know that the Greeks weren't right. I think they were, that love can eat a path through everything, that it will destroy a lot of things on the way to its own objective, which is just its expression of itself. And my stepfather loved his family, right? Now, he mistreated us terribly quite often, but he loved us. And, that to me is something worth commenting on in the hopes of undoing a lot of what I perceive as terrible damage, and the way people talk about this love as this benign, comfortable force. It's not that. It's wild, you know.
King Saul fell on his sword when it all went wrong, and Joseph's brothers sold him down the river for a song. And Sonny Liston rubbed some tiger balm into his glove. Some things you do for money, and some you do for love, love, love. Raskolnikov felt sick, but he couldn't say why. When he saw his face reflected in his victim's twinkling eye. Some things you'll do for money, and some you'll do for fun. But the things you do for love are gonna come back to you one by one. Love, love is gonna lead you by the hand into a wide and soundless place. Now we see things as in a mirror dimly. Then we shall see each other face to face. And way out in Seattle, young Kurt Cobain snuck out to the greenhouse, put a bullet in his brain. Snakes in the grass beneath our feet, rain in the clouds above. Some moments last forever, but some flare out with love, love, love.
And then the Sunset Tree was after my stepfather died. And he died, and my sister called in the middle of the night to say Mike's dead. And then I went on tour a month or two later, and stuff started to crack open. It was really amazing. I just started to feel free with my feelings, you know. And
in general,
well, no, with just my vision. My ability to think about that time and how far I'd come. I lived in Iowa at the time.
You think that some impact was that the abuser was dead?
Yes, oh, absolutely. I mean, I tell survivors when they come up to me in the merch line, is like, they'll say, "Well, I survived abuse. Has your abuser died yet?" And then we'll say, "No." And I say, "I want you to be ready, because it is." I mean, I hate to say this because you don't wish death on anybody. It's wonderful when your abuser dies. It's wonderful. It's like nothing in the world. It's like you are free. Yeah, I mean, there's a feeling that you will never be free of what you were. There's that. But there is this, even though my stepfather was helpless at the end of his life, but to know that the person who used to hurt you no longer can is very, very, very deep. It's unbelievable.
You forgive him?
No. Which I hate about myself, but I don't.
Got up before dawn. Went down to the racetrack. Riding with the windows down. Shortly after your first heart attack. We parked behind the paddock, cracking asphalt underfoot, and coming in through the cracks, pale green things, pale
green things. We watch the horses run their workouts. You had your stopwatch in your left hand. And a racing form beneath your arm. Casting your gaze way out to no man's land. Sometimes I'll meet you out there, lonely and frightened, flicking my tongue out at the wet leaves. Pale green things, pale green things. My sister called at 3 a.m. One morning last December. And she told me how you died at last, at last. And that morning at the racetrack was one thing I remember. I turned it over in my mind like a living Chinese finger trap. Seaweed in Indiana sawgrass. Pale green things, pale green things. Thank you so much. This is called Abandoning My Father Talking Blues. It was 9 a.m. when the U-Haul came. I heard my mama call my name. My dad taught English at Cal Raleigh San Luis Obispo. He was at work that day. It was time to go. We were moving. I was 5 years old and my sister was 3. I was wondering what it's like to become a me. My sister looked sad and I tried to be strong, but it was hard just to get up and move along. We were moving. About 5 in the afternoon, we were gone and my stepfather welcomed me with open arms. We walked right through that apartment door. I had never lived in an apartment before and it was weird. I'll probably never know what it was like that night for my dad, but I wager it was pretty bad. My sister and me, we stayed up late, talking in the dark, not feeling so great. We were moving out of our house into a 2-story apartment building across town with a swing set in a sandbox in the middle of the parking lot. And a laundry room full of this washing machine and 2 dryers. Keep the hall fire burning. Keep the home You have got that look in your eyes in the pinprick place where kindness goes to die. I'll be 6 years old next year. You erase me. You'll be sorry. You always feel sorry later on when you come around to say so. I will be gone, and in my place meet my letter perfect body double. You erase me. And a few years later on, took up the reins on my own, took him in my hands all for you, dug the spurs in clean down to the bone, but all that comes later. Now there's only you and me, and the replica where my body used to be. Go ahead and lay down. He feels no pain at all. You erase me. Thank you very much.
He hit me right in the face. I drove the Falcon uptown, hung out in the library parking lot. The swelling will never go down. Find a Hiram Walker in the lining of my father's old corduroy coat. Big, big plans hatching in my brain, a big ugly lump in my throat. I drove up to Harvey Mudd and I played pinball till I didn't want to kill anyone. Polished off all my cheap whiskey, stepped out into the California sun, singing Weihnachten voice on Gauna and the juice of the barley for me. Singing Weihnachten voice on Gauna and the juice of the barley for me. Thirst carried me up the coast, where it only got sharper, god damn it, in a small room that got even smaller, a block away from the Willamette. There was nowhere I needed to go, and nowhere I wanted to be, and my window looked out upon nothing, and nothing looked right back at me. I had a couple of things on my mind, couple of problems to think through, and I drank
until I couldn't see straight anymore, until there was nothing to drink to, saying Bynum voice on down, and the juice of the barley for me, singing Bynum voice on down, and the juice of the barley for me. Hey.
When we hid out behind the risers at the high school, marking bitter calculations with a slide rule, the grim particulars of poisoning the swimming pool, where you looked me in the eye, ready to die. We were becoming what we are, collapsing stars. When we chewed up children's Tylenol like bubble gum, till our hearts were beating thick and rich as kettle drums. We knew if we waited long enough the change would come, and then the day did come, and at last, hold tight, hold fast, catch lightning in a jar, collapsing stars. Told you to load up on provisions, so we wouldn't be back for a while. Packed up your troubles in your old kit bag, turned toward the camera and smile, smile, smile. When we ditched the plan to poison all our enemies, tucked our weapons in a clearing, covered them with leaves. We are gonna come rejoicing, bringing in the sheaves one day. And we are on our way. You can look, but you won't find another love like ours, collapsing stars. But I don't think I played it this time. It's called The Day the Aliens Came. It is a song about how sometimes you find yourself living in a house where you think, I have to get out of here, but maybe you're too young to get out of there, or you don't have any money, or you don't have any means or anywhere to go, and yet you cling firmly to the idea that someday you will escape through some means. Maybe Batman will show up in his car outside or something, and like other people might laugh and say, man, John, Batman's not coming to save you, and you think, look, man, between me and Batman and you, I'll take Batman. I will wake up at 6 a.m. again, and I will find my way to the front door like a soldier crawling through the smoking army, smoldering bodies at my feet. I'd love to stick around, but I've got someone to meet, and I will put my best foot forward, and I'll thank God I made it out of there on the day when the new friends come. Step out onto the lawn in my nice white tuxedo jacket, and I will look out upon the day through my dark sunglasses and take in the scene, the house behind me and the people in it. We'll all go up like steam in just a minute. There's gonna be a redefining of some borders, and I will receive my orders on the day of my new friend's car. Can y'all hear everything okay? Yeah! So, speaking also of acid, most of y'all did not grow up here probably, so you don't know that down where the green burrito is at, maybe the green burrito isn't there anymore either. At Arrow and Indian Hill, you know? Yeah! That used to be, it was a shopping center when I was a kid, and then it sort of died, the death of late 70s shopping centers, and it became this sort of burned out place, and they put it in Music Plus. And there was a drugstore there that held on to the bitter end called TG&Y. That damn straight. And I never knew what TG&Y stood for. It was like this mysterious thing. It's like, oh, that's TG&Y. Nobody knows what the T, nor the G, nor the Y stand for. We got the and figured out. And there was graffiti behind. There was this wall separating the apartments from the shopping center. And there was, if you went back there to say, get high, there was one lone graffito. That's right. I went to college, man. I know there was in graffiti and graffito. And it said, LSD is good. This song is more or less a true story, and it's called From TG&Y.
Just before the flight, huffed some cans of spray paint and began to vomit blood. One more night in this town is gonna break me, I just know. Hang on to your dreams till someone makes you let them go. Stumbled on down Indian Hill, tail between my legs, sick taste in my mouth, Folgers, crystals, and hard-boiled eggs. If I can't run away tonight, I don't know what I'll do. Hang on to your dreams till someone beats them out of you. Do what you have to do. Go where you have to go. When the time comes to loosen up your grip, you'll know. Called my friend in New York, 3,000 miles away, halfway through her metamorphosis, nothing I could say. Poured my small resentments like rare and priceless gems. Hang on to your dreams until there's nothing left of them.
Thank you.